Alex Kurtzman, you hack. Consider this your send-off. You killed the franchise and we're singing over the grave. I used to be my pride, watch the stars unfold. Bold explorers, logic sharp, stories pure as gold. Then came Kurtzman, Grim Reaper in a suit, turned the Enterprise into a woke-ass reboot. 'Cause in the day that clown sniffed around the set, now it's teen drama trash, the franchise is dead. Greatest sci-fi ever, no! Captain Nalaka, Holly Hunter's barefoot joke, strutting in PJ's no shoes, someone's got a fetish poke. Talks like gravel in her mouth, sits like a smug damn cat, refuses to split a kid from a crook. Starfleet, where's that at? Oh, power to forward shields while getting hit from behind. Technical idiocy shows you got no mind. Women always stronger, smarter, morally supreme. Men bumbling props in your feminist fever dream. Cadet's supposed to be elite, fat, dumb, and out of shape. Whining about love triangles, homesick tears on tape. Insubordination daily, no discipline in sight. Mouth off to superiors, get a hug, yeah, that's right. Flat as cardboard, one-dimensional D-bots. Speed run arcs faster than a warp core plot. Everyone's queer-coded, not representation, just force. Preachy therapeutic speed, empathy circles, of course. Oh, Alex Kurtzman, you ruined Star Trek. Woke Trek forever. What a pathetic wreck. Barefoot captains, pajama queens on the bridge. Cadets fat and whiny playing high school gigs. EA checklists, virtue signaling lectures. Force gay pandering feelings over vectors. You hate the show, you hate the fans, you hate the dream. Starfleet Academy, more like a bad fever dream. Beam me the hell out of here, Scotty, I'm done. Writing's cringeworthy, dialogue preachy and lame. Juvenile jokes fall flat, embarrassing shame. Grainy visuals, cheap effects, sound mix from hell. Lord butchered, cannon trashed, nostalgia bait smell. Pacing's garbage on tears, forced drama galore. Teen soap on Nickelodeon couldn't be more poor. Viewership tanked, charts dropping like red shirts in a fight. Low scores ain't bombing, fans just saw the light. Ruined Discovery, Picard, strange new worlds too. Lower decks tried, but you poisoned that crew. Turned hope and exploration into leftist lecture halls. Discipline's oppression, men are useless, women got balls. Over-reliance on Easter eggs, desperate and sloppy. No fresh ideas, just wrecking what's copied. Kurtzman, your secret hideout, king of the con. You don't get Trek, you hate it, and it's gone. Oh, Alex Kurtzman, you ruined Star Trek. Woke Trek forever. What a pathetic wreck. Barefoot captains, pajama queens on the bridge. Cadets fat and whining, playing high school gigs. DA checklists, virtue signaling lectures. Force gate pandering, feelings over vectors. You wrote the epitaph, killed the best franchise alive. Starfleet Academy, proof the dream don't survive. Beam me the hell out of here, Scotty. I'm done. Yeah, I'm done. So skip this trash, real fans, let it die in the dark. Kurtzman, take your woke coat and shove it where it sparks. Star Trek was bold, it was hope, it was true. Now it's your tombstone. Your
All right. Hello, everybody. This is the Sights and Sounds of Earth. My name's Ian, and we are live tonight in Southwest Florida, where it's a little bit warmer, thank goodness. And I had a bunch of feeds going here about 30 minutes ago, and most of them went down or switched to something else. But what we got up there in the center is that's Iran and areas around Iran where we're waiting for a potential missile strike coming in still, because the talks have broke down between the United States and Iran and Israel, and it's expected that Trump may take some kind of aggressive action. And then we've got Fox News in the upper right there. That's a raw channel they've got on YouTube. Upper left, that's Philadelphia. We've got some kind of health emergency going on up there in the snow. And that is a live cam out of Philadelphia, where even when it's snowing and there's piles of snow on the ground, there's still bums all sitting around doing their drugs. Anyway, and then the only protest video I have right now that is live is the one right above me here. This one right there, that one. That is the only one, and I think they're en route to a protest. So we're going to see what happens. But I'm having a hard time. The other protest one I had just went off, and it flipped over to the local Fox affiliate there for some weather. But anyway, I'm going to keep trying to find some additional feeds. We've got some neat things to talk about tonight. I am going to talk tonight about Starfleet Academy, Star Trek. I know I've already talked about it a couple times. The new one comes out tomorrow, but I do want to do a segment on it tonight. I made some funny AI pictures to go along with the discussion, and I do want to mention a few things about that. Also, we're going to be talking tonight about that big sunspot that we talked about last night. The CME has arrived, and it hits Earth's magnetic field today on February 4th. A sharp impact, about 15:30 hours Universal Time, jolted magnetometer needles around the world as the USGS monitoring station in Boulder, Colorado. The jolt was significant, but not enough to cause a major geomagnetic storm. Instead, minor G1 to moderate G2 class storms are possible in the hours ahead. And this is probably the CME that was emitted. It's a glancing blow from the CME that was emitted from the X-class flare that came from that huge sunspot, AR 4366. It's crazy how big this thing is. And they're getting more pictures of it, and you can check out all of that over at spaceweather.com. As 4366 is currently now facing Earth as of now, it's now posing a threat for X flares. Such flares can cause shortwave radio blackouts, and if they hurl a CME in our direction, strong to extreme geomagnetic storms. So stay tuned. We will be covering this. Anything it hurls will be geo-effective, and we'll see immediate effects with radio blackout, and then we'll see extended effects with the geomagnetic storms. Okay, so that's what we've got going on with space weather. All right, and just to reiterate here, this is the Sights and Sounds of Earth on Starship Adventures. My name's Ian. I'm here with my co-host. I don't know. Oh, she's back here. Are you hiding? Oh, okay. She's talking all of a sudden. She just in the last week. Since I've been back from vacation a couple days. What is that? Well, they've never heard your voice, so talk. I need to get you mic'd up, girl. I need to get her a little headset that she can wear around so you guys can hear, because she has a lot of comments, but she speaks so softly. Go ahead and speak. The mic's right there. She goes, no, I'll speak to you and love the mic. That's how I do it. All right. So anyway, this is Mama Bleep, and she is my co-host. She's an old cat that I've had. She wandered up here as a stray, and she brought me some kittens one night, and ever since that night, we've been good buddies. I helped her take care of them little kittens, didn't I? Yeah. And ever since then, she went from being a feral cat to just absolutely loving people. So anyway, all right, so that's the end of that. As far as civil unrest, there's reports out there that there's civil unrest, but I don't really see a lot going on. There's no live feeds that I'm seeing. The channels that normally do composites, none of them are up right now, except one, and they're having a discussion, or like a roundtable on there. So I don't really see any of the normal things that go on when there's protests or riots going on. The only one we have that's live right now that I'm aware of is the one above me here. This one right there. That one is live. Yes, Mama, I'm on the air. You know that, right? You know that, right? Red on air light, right? No? All right. Man, I got to tell you guys, I walked through for the first time the new studios that we're moving to. And it looks like there may be crazy stuff coming up. I don't really want to mention too much. I do want to say this. I went into the TV studio for Wink TV, and it is so big market, I can't believe it. It is beautiful in there. All the cameras are these big automatic things that all roll around the room and stuff. And it's a huge, massive set that has hundreds of different angles. I mean, it's just absolutely amazing. Wonderfully lit, wonderfully branded and colored and everything. It's just an absolutely amazing television set. And I also went all down through the building and checked it all out. And I got to tell you guys, wow, they went all out. We're going to have the best broadcast facility in the country, I think. So I'm going to be giving you guys tours. I'm also shooting a bunch of stuff that I'm going to put together about the old building. I've shot already about 40 minutes worth of video. when I leave at night, it's like I think they got security there, but other than that, there's nobody there. I'm the last broadcaster out. There's a real good chance that in 2 or 3 weeks, I will shut down the last show in that building. And why is that important? Well, that's a legacy building. Since like the early 30s, there's been a signal, television or radio, coming out of that building. It's almost constant. And other than just a few times during floods and things like that, there's always been live broadcasts there. And there's always been people manning that building and in that building. Master control, television control, radio. There's just so many different people that work in this building. Over 200 people worked in this building. And now when I leave at night, we're one of the last stations to move. And so when I leave at night, there's nobody left. I mean, they pay somebody to watch the building, of course, but there's no one left there, no broadcasters left there, and I'm like, that's just spooky. I was walking around on the second floor, going up to get a soda. The soda machine's still up there. The company provides us with like a fountain machine. This company's great to work for. It's all the great things about a big corporation and all the great things about a locally owned company, all wrapped up into one. But anyway, I'm going to show you guys all around the new building and the old building as soon as I find out what I'm allowed to show you guys around. The old building, they don't care. I'm taking all kinds of video in there. I just want to ask and find out if there's any weird policies or anything about the new building, because I want to do a tour. But I think I'm going to wait till after we're in. For a few weeks, so it's probably going to be a little while, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 weeks. I want to wait till we're in and everything's hooked up and everything's working and everything looks right. And there's no, the crews are gone that are putting everything together, and then I want to walk around with permission. I want to walk around and do a complete walk around of the whole thing, and you guys will not believe it. I'm telling you, I am freaking impressed. Okay. Anyway, so that's that. That's where I work, and that's we will be moving probably in 2 to 3 weeks. It looks like, and I will be moving into. My chat room is not working. Let me refresh. We will be moving in probably in 2 to 3 weeks. Okay, so here we go. Hey everybody, neighbor, Charlotte's Rock, Dispatch, Matt, let's see, Jungle, Scott, welcome everybody tonight. Yellow Rose, thank you for being here as always. Yep, give me that support out there. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and yeah, we're doing good tonight. Numbers are picking up. That song coming in is a little song I wrote earlier today called Alex Kurtzman Sucks. And Kurtzman, he's the man that's single-handedly ruining Starfleet. And so that's the big thing I want to talk about tonight for just about 30 minutes or so. I did 4.5 hours last night. I'm only going to do like hour and a half or 2 hours tonight. I need to get some sleep. I got to be up early in the morning. So I say that, but I'll be on here for 3 hours tonight. You watch. But anyway, what I got to do tonight, I got to tell you guys this new Starfleet Academy. It's so bad. I've been going around and I've been watching some of these guys that are what I call Star Trek shills. There's always people that are like, I'm going to just say I like it because I love Star Trek and I don't want Star Trek to have any like bad marks. I don't want Star Trek to have any like, any bad like things said about it. So I'm just going to go along and act like I like this. And that way, that way it'll be normal. And so I really think that's a lot of what's going on with some of these YouTubers, is they're actually like, hey, I'm just going to go along to get along. I don't think I really want to talk bad about it or whatever. And I've been leaving nasty remarks in their comments. I'm like, you need to pick a side, dude. This is garbage. It's shit. And you need to come right out and say it is what it is. I don't like when, people look right at the TV, they see the same shit that I see, and then they come on, this is not so bad. I can understand why some people, kiss my ass. You either like this woke feminine shit Trek or you don't. Okay, it's that simple. And so I think it's so sad what's happened to Gene Roddenberry, to Gene Roddenberry's show. It has literally turned into woke Trek. And yes, Kurtzman's name is spelled like 5 different ways in all these, and it's because I don't care. It's disrespect. Kurtzman Trek, Woke Fleet Academy. That's what I'm calling this now. Kurtzman Trek, Woke Fleet Academy. This is an entire show based on feminizing the Star Trek universe. A universe that was originally written mostly for men, a masculine universe. And they're literally feminizing, the entire universe. Klingons are now polyamorous gay creatures, and they go around and they fight with candy canes. Okay, no, I made that part up. But there you go. They've turned Klingons into a bunch of pussies, man. What's going on with that? I mean, how's this even... This is not Star Trek. This is some kind of Kurtzman woke-ass Trek. I wrote a thing about it today. I wrote a thing today, and I put it up on the blogs. You guys can check it out about this Kurtzman Trek. I wrote a really long description about what's happened, what's going on. Oh, God, here come the feminine Klingons. Yeah, Kapla. Anyway, yeah, I'm pissed about this, if you can't tell. Yeah, that's a great poster there, isn't it? Yeah, there we go. It's Kurtzman Trek, Woke Fleet Academy, streaming starting January 5th on Paramount Negative. And there, the bridge looks like a Denny's. It does. It looks like one of those diner Denny's. What's up with that? Why does the bridge look like diner? And where's this bitch's shoes? All right, I'm serious. Where's her freaking shoes at? The bitch never wears shoes. She's firing torpedoes. She's barefooted. She don't give a shit. She runs down to catch the president. And why she got shit in her mouth? Why she got... It's just a sharp... I was a captain of a Starfleet Academy, and I like to talk with large amounts of poo-poo in my mouth. What is with that? Where's this chick at? What's the deal? Yeah, are the Borgs going to be gay? We'd like to assimilate you. I mean, what's coming? What's happening? The Romulans are little bitches now? Kurtzman Trek, Woke Fleet Academy. What the hell is going on in this world? The women are big, butchy, tough chicks, man. They'll whoop your ass even. And the guys, they're all feminine. Oh, I've got muscles, but I don't like to use them. Oh, what in the F is going on in my world? This is Star Trek, man. Gene Roddenberry's rolling and rolling and rolling in that grave, man. Bones clanking. I'm telling you, this pisses me off. This is some bullshit right here now. All this Kurtzman Trek. I hate this guy. I don't use that word lightly, okay? Because, too much hate will send you to hell. So I try to stay away from it. But I'm going to tell you something. This Kurtzman Trek horse shit. Yeah, I mean, what's coming next? I know we're going to have gay Vulcans. It's logical to do another man. I mean, what are they going to say? I mean, what happened to Big Tough Worf? I am not a merry man. What happened to that? What happened to Masculine Trek, a show about a captain and his ship? Even Catherine Janeway, Kate Mulgrew, genius. She carried it. She was a woman. She was tough. We all loved her. She was great. She's my favorite captain. You don't have to be a pussy wimp with no shoes on walking around in your sport cord jammies, all right, to be like, to change the world. Kate Mulgrew proved that you could be a gorgeous woman and command a starship like a mean bitch. And that's how she did it. And she did it well. And I love both the character, both the woman that played the character and the character. And so I don't understand why we had to make this chick like this. Why did we have to make her? She runs around Starfleet. She runs up to the guy that runs Starfleet in the main hall of Starfleet with the other commander of the other academy, whatever. She runs up in her jammies wearing like nothing on her feet. And I'm like, dude, have you noticed that in the entire show, you're the only one that don't have black boots on? I mean, I'm just putting it out there. Did you notice that There's 263 extras on this show, and you're the only one. And I'm thinking, okay, so maybe Kurtzman's got a foot fetish or something. Okay, that's excusable. All right, fetishes are cool, whatever. But Jesus Christ, she's a captain of a ship. You could have at least made her a race that can't wear frickin' shoes or something. I mean, you could have retconned in some horse shit about something. What in the hell are you doing? I've come to the conclusion that Alex Kurtzman hates Star Trek and he hates me. Okay? I've come to the conclusion that this guy's gay. I know he is. He's got a husband. It's all good. I'm accepting of that. I'm not accepting of him screwing up Star Trek and making it just a complete pile of absolute crap and shit. I can't even. What's next, dude? You know, Picard, the first 3 seasons were barely watchable. Even with Sir Patrick Stewart in it, it was barely watchable. And it was just not that good. And I did like that Rafi girl or whatever her name was. I liked her, and I liked 7 and 9. I mean, I didn't like her as much in the show, but I liked her in that. The last season was really good when they got the whole original crew back together. That's one of the only things Kurtzman's done that's been halfway decent. He's done 3 seasons of Strange New Worlds, and he completely blew one episode, 1 out of 9 in the first season. He completely blew 2 out of 9 in the second season. Completely. He did a goddamn musical. Okay. Oh, my God, my head's about to explode. I want to beat this guy's ass, and I'm not like that, okay, because I'm just saying that because I don't do that kind of thing, but I just like, oh my God, I can't stand this guy. And so everything that he does, he has to gay the shit out of it. Star Trek is accepting of everybody. That's what's great about Star Trek. But it's got to be representative of the way it really is out here. You know, 90% of us are not gay. So why is 90% of the people on this ship gay? That's what I want to know. They don't learn it. It's politics, but see, politics should have stayed out of sexuality, but it didn't. So now those two are intrinsically connected, and now Star Trek has all become political. It's all left wing. Star Trek's always been a little utopianistic. You know, Gene Roddenberry was a dreamer. A lot of the stuff he thought about him and like the likes of Walt Disney and people like that were very smart and very beyond their time, okay? They thought up things that would never happen in today's society, but it was still very forward and very cool thinking. Gene Roddenberry insisted on putting women on that bridge, insisted on that black woman being there as the communications officer. And by the way, I love Nichelle Nichols as Lieutenant Uhura. I had a crush like you wouldn't believe. He fought for her to be there. And to have women on that ship that were holding the same ranks as the men, that was important. Yeah, they put them in skirts. That's a sign of the times, 1966. All right. But Gene Roddenberry, he wanted it to be a vision of the future where everyone was accepted. And there was even undertones of it in the original series. In the Next Generation, there was actually polyamorous relationships were explored with one episode, different things. There was gay relationships here and there. There was a woman-on-woman kiss at one point. It was a trill. It was a man before. But anyway, long story short, you know, they pushed some boundaries with these shows. Esri Dax had another one, symbiote that came back, and they were 2 chicks, and they apparently, the symbiote was male when they were together, but now it's come back as in a female, so I guess they had to scissor. I don't know how that works. But the point is, it's always been there. A little bit of it's fine. I don't mind it because a little bit of it's everywhere. I don't mind that, you know? I would like to see one gay person on the ship. That's perfectly fine. He doesn't need to prance around and wear bows in his hair. I'm just saying, dude, we've got to look at what we're doing here. We're ruining a masculine franchise by making it a feminine mess. And I don't think women like it before as much, and I don't think women like it now. You know, I have a buddy whose wife is into Star Trek just like he is, and she is more angry over this than he is. She can't stand the feminization of Star Trek. She liked watching it when it was tough men flying starships across the galaxy, shooting phasers up the ass of anybody that don't listen. That's what people like. They like that. It was a masculine show. It was man having a standoff. Lower your shields. You know, and it's not, and now it's not like that. They don't even there's no attention to detail, there's no attention to correctness or any of that kind of stuff. It's just really bad. Hey Carlotta, what's up? Yeah, it's really bad. And so I'm just having a real hard time with it. Yes, I'm going to get up in the morning and watch the new episode. I will. Because I'm going to be writing smack about it, and I'm going to be making more of these wonderful pictures that you've seen rotating here, talking about the new show, Kurtzman Trek Woke Fleet Academy. And by the way, I'm going to send all these pictures to a bunch of guys on YouTube that talk smack about this show just because I want to make their stuff better. Yeah, you guys do have rain moving in overnight. That's true. Absolutely. Yeah, here we go. This is the current picture right now. Yeah, you're going to get it. It's coming probably in the next 3 hours, maybe. So there you go. It is coming down the state. It's just light rain. I don't see anything. Let me set this on. Okay, this is set to winter. Let me set this back to relativity here. Yeah, see, there's not much to this. There's not much to this. There's a few pockets of moderate rain, no lightning, no wind. It's no rotation. It's just a little bit of rain. It'll probably break up before it even gets down to here. All right, so that's what we got there. So yeah, but back to the Starfleet Academy thing. The truth is, guys, the truth is, I'm going to cancel my Paramount Plus subscription. I just can't stand it anymore. This is what they've got to offer: stupid cartoons, and this, and that's literally what they have to offer, and it just drives me nuts. And so anyway, how can you have? And listen, I'm overweight, so I'm going to qualify this right now. I'm fat, got a big belly. I'm probably 45, 50 pounds overweight. So when I say this, it's out of love. It's not because I'm some kind of body shape person or something, okay? I'm a fat ass. However, that being said, okay, what in the F do we doing with 345-pound women on the bridge of a starship? We've got women that Captain No Shoes took her shirt off and she had like an undershirt on and you could see her arms all the way up to here. And I mean, you can tell there was not a muscle in that arm. It looked like a little thin, pricky arm. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, she's the captain of the ship. Now, I want you to think about this for a minute. She's the captain of the ship. Could she handle herself? I want you to think about this. Okay, Captain Kirk beams down to Cestus 3, right? And he finds the entire thing wiped out, okay? And he gets attacked by the Gorn on Cestus 3, okay? And they have to fight back, and the ship is attacked, and everything's going on, and they lose a couple of the guys, and Kirk's injured. The actual actor hurt his ear shooting the shot, and all this happens, and then what happens? The Gorn leave, so the guys beam up to the ship. They take off pursuit course warp 9, Mr. Sulu, and they chase those Gorn bastards all the way back. And all of a sudden, the Metrons reach out from their planet way in the distance and stop both ships dead in space. Okay? And what happens? They decide the captains are going to be plucked off the bridges of their two ships and beamed down to this planet, which we now call Vasquez Rocks in California near Burbank, in Alquados. Anyway, long story, great shooting location. The point is they beam down they bring these two men, the man and the lizard Gorn, and they bring them down to the planet, and they put them there to fight to the death. Okay? That's just one episode. Kirk was tortured 32 times and never gave up the information. All right? He was put under a beam that made him do shit. Kirk, look at all the shit he had to do. He had to fight 3 people at one time. He had to do Kirk Fu all the time and kick people across the room and shit. Look at all the shit he had to do. How is 5'1" with no shoes on? She gets taken off the bridge. She's beamed down to this planet. She has no shoes on. She's standing in the desert with no shoes on, wearing warp core 90s, okay? And the Gorn walks up, and what happens? Our captain, what does she do? Does the bitch run? She has no shoes on. It's a desert. I mean, I'm beside myself on how stupid this can be. You know, just how many times did the crew survive because Captain Kirk was tough and he beat somebody's ass and he took somebody out and he Kirk Food somebody down and he wrapped this around and tied him up with that. Is this chick doing that? You know, Catherine Janeway did. She was fucking mean, dude. She could take care of business and she sold it. This chick can't sell nothing. She's got shit in her mouth all the time. This whole thing is crap. The whole thing is crap. And I'm done with it. I'm really angry because every time they come out with a new Star Trek, I mean, Discovery was crap. It was so bad. It was so woke. And then, you know, Strange New Worlds was a little bit better, but they had so many really bad episodes mixed in. There's the Denny's Bridge. The bridge does look like one of those Denny's 60s diners. I don't know why, but that's what it looks like. You could call this fetish trek too. Yeah, Kirk Fu. Kirk Fu is like running across the room and kicking a guy with both feet and then falling down to the ground. That's Kirk Fu. And then in the next scene, you're back up again and it's not even sore. But anyway. Yeah, I mean, you got to have a little bit of Kirk Fu in there. Look, I'm not against women. Like I said, I love Janeway. They're portraying the women as little feminine, dainty women that can barely hold a phaser up. And they're just, I don't work out, I don't do anything. And then who's the first officer? A 340-pound female Jim Hadar Klingon. Okay, so she's one of the polyamorous Klingons apparently. And then she's also a female Jim Hadar. Do we know that Jim Hadar don't breed? Jim Hadar are created in a test tube. They don't breed. They're born to be hooked on Tittercell White, and they have no sex. They generally look like a male, but they have no sex. There is no females. That is just a complete breach of canon right there. So we've got this first officer that's a lesbian that is 340 pounds and screwing the engineer who's also a lesbian and weighs 100 pounds and is a comic. And they both go off and do their things. I don't know how she gets out of it without bleeding with all those little horns all over her body. But they must do, I don't know how, I'm trying to think how a Jim Hadar would scissor a 90-pound comedian. But anyway, I don't know. The whole thing's crazy. Yeah, even Carlotta's not much on, women in masculine roles a lot. But she liked Janeway. Janeway was... Kate Mulgrew sold it, man. She just did. And they had some good writing on that show. And so I think between good actors, good writing, everything went well on Voyager. They made a whole season of Voyager for what they're making one episode of this horse shit here. I'll tell you how I really feel, Heath. Here it comes. You ready? This woman has shit in her mouth right off the bat. I'm the chancellor of the Starfleet Academy, and I like to talk with feces in my mouth. I'm sorry, guys. I went off a little bit. I'm just so sick of it. I don't like the woke bullshit all the time. I'm sick of it. We're getting away from it. It's like I don't think that idiot, what's his name, Dickless Marshmallow, what's his name, the guy that's doing the halftime show. I don't think that this guy signed a contract back when Biden was still president, and woke was still like the motion in the ocean at that moment. And so this guy 2 years ago signed a contract with the NFL, who better unwoke their shit even more than they already have, because they're still too damn woke for me to watch any of it with the cheating bullshit and everything else. But anyway, the point being is, I just, every time, anytime somebody goes woke, they should go broke. Because woke is overdoing it. A woke is way too far. We've already got affirmative action. We've already got everything. Everybody's made equal now. Everybody votes equal. Everybody makes money equally. In some respects, some races and genders actually still get a little easier road in hiring and things like that. There's still that kind of stuff going on. And so I don't know why we have to overpush everything. Everything has to be double gay, double sweet, double gay. I just don't understand it, And we've got all this transgender going on right now. We had a woman come on our show tonight, and she said, I have a daughter, and her daughter was pushed by all of her friends to go see the counselor about transitioning. She wanted to be a man. And so the counselor said, yeah, sure, that's a great idea, and gave her the name of a doctor to go see. I mean, this is sad. And now the counselor and the doctor and the shrink that she's seeing, they're all on board with talking this 14-year-old into starting puberty blockers and to start whacking shit off and sewing shit around and doing this and that in a couple of years. And she's like, what do you do when it's your daughter and this is what they're doing and all this? And it was just a really sad story. And I'm like, it's one thing when you're 23 years old and you want to go, get a surgery, a laparoscopy, or, some kind of transitional surgery like that, or an addictomy or something. Any of these surgeries that they have now, that's fine. That's you as an adult. You're allowed to go get these things. You're allowed to go do this if you want to. But pushing it on a child is evil. It's evil. And you will rot in hell for that, I'm telling you. Okay? When these people indoctrinate children at 12 or 13 years old to hate their body and hate who they are and convince them that they need to take medicine to make them something that God didn't make them, and they've got to go take a scalpel to their body to make it something that God didn't originally make. That's disgusting for another human to do that. Most of these children that start transitioning that early grow out of it. They get away from it. And now they've messed themselves up. Now they can't have kids. They don't have sexual enjoyment. There's all kinds of different things that happen to these people. And I just think, like I said, I'm accepting of what a sentient, age of majority adult decides to do with their own body, with their own money. I'm not paying for it either, no tax money. But I have no problem with whatever you want to do with your body. The moment you try to convince somebody that's under the age of 18 to manipulate or to, even worse, to destroy tissue, to destroy ability, to destroy future pleasure, all because you want to push some kind of crazy ideology, I'm so against that, you have no idea. And I think that any human that tries to talk a child into going down this road is inhuman. They are inhuman. They do something that is contrary to the laws of God and man. And I'm sorry, but that's how I see it. And that's where I draw the line. What you do as an adult is perfectly fine. But then once we get into this, Once we get into this, where we're trying to convince children to do it, and you know who I really think's the worst? The teachers, the school faculty that are leftists that are out there telling kids it's perfectly fine to be in the wrong body, and we're going to help you get your body squared away to where you're in the right body. And Trey brought up something today in the show that was very interesting, and I'm going to bring it up here. I never really thought about it, but Trey, like I, believes in reincarnation. We both absolutely believe in reincarnation. The evidence, the proof is substantial that we are a product of a last life. Now, does that mean we're the same person, or that it's some kind of soul, or maybe even just a residual memory? I don't know. I don't know how it works, and I don't claim to know how it works, but I do believe in reincarnation. I do believe in multiple souls. I believe that we all end up around the same people over and over again. And I do believe that our lives, when you do bad in this life, then the next time around you're not better off. You're worse off. And I think that it all comes down to ending up in heaven. That's still the bottom line. We want to become a master soul and end up in heaven and all that. So if you believe in reincarnation, and you believe that little boy that knew all about those military planes, that little boy that they actually figured out who he was and gave, the sister still had his effects, and he got his stuff back from the war. I mean, that's a crazy story if you guys have never seen it. And I'm trying to think of the name of that. I'll try to find a link for it real quick, because it's definitely worth it. I think it was Dateline. I think Dateline is who did it. Yeah. He called himself James 3. And every time he would write his name, he would write James and the number 3. And they ask him, why do you write James 3? And he says, because I'm the third. And that was one of the first things that started happening. They bring this boy to an air show. He wants to go to an air show, a military air show, more than anything in the world. And so at 3 years old, they bring him to an air show. They walk him down the air show. And he says, his dad's a complete skeptic at this point. Thinks that the whole thing's horseshit. Pulls on his daddy's jacket, and he said, see that, Daddy? That's a Corsair. He said they blew tires out in the war all the time. They had to have all kinds of extra tires. And the dad walks up to the military guy standing there, and he goes, what about this plane and the tires or something? He goes, oh, yeah, during the war, these planes, they're too heavy for the tires. And when they were coming in, they'd be blowing tires out left and right. And they literally kept the tires right on the deck so they could load them up real quick. And that's the kind of stuff that you just don't, there's no way around that. They were looking through books one day, and a kid was looking through books, and he was telling them about stuff in the book. And he opens to a certain page, and the kid panics. And he says, that's where little man went down on the plane. And they looked it up. They found the guy based on the names of his buddies that he flew with. They found this guy. And they found his sister. And the sister meets the kid. It's crazy. I'm telling you, it's crazy. Put reincarnation, James 3. It should come up. There's a lot of good ones out there. A lot of good reincarnation stories. I think it's James 3. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, when you get done with me tonight, put this in your queue. You know what? If nothing else, it'll make you feel good about what's coming next. Because this is not the only time you get to be here. This is not the only body you get to inhabit. And we will eventually make it to heaven. And that's the bottom line. And that's the reincarnation story. And you can still be Christian and believe in it. You can still believe in God. It's reincarnation. It's the way it works. It's energy circle. It goes around and around and around. All right. So anyway, and he brought that up. because he's like, hey, if we believe in reincarnation, then we believe that as people come over, they slowly forget everything. By the time he was 7 or 8, this kid, he remembered nothing. It was all gone. So it's one of those things where you have to, you have to get it while you're young. And what they're finding, I think, is with these kids that are confused about their gender, is what if it's a past life? What if they were a female in their last life and now they're born as a male? I mean, it's crazy things like that. What if you reincarnated last time on a planet that has a 32-hour day? I mean, you could come back here with some kind of time euphoria. How many people do you know never get it right when it comes to the time? There's so many things like this that I wonder about. Like, how many things do we bring forward from the last life? And could this partially explain why so many children feel the need to have some kind of gender reassignment surgery or something? And although I do believe this is part of the problem, I think maybe a little bit, I think the indoctrination of the children by the teachers and by the counselors and by the head shrinkers and by the doctors and by the nurses, I think that's the biggest culprit in this. Making them feel like, hey, you want to be special? Be transgender. That's special. You want to be special? Be gay. You want to be special? Pick a letter. LGBTQIA2S plus. Pick a letter or just hang on to the plus at the end. It's all good. And if you pick a letter, you'll be special, because there's two kinds of people in this school. People that are special and people that are not recognized and not normal and not spoken to and things like that. And it almost becomes a bully tactic. And these kids are like, I want to be special. And they have these big coming out parties, and they don't tell the parents what the party's all about. And they all have a party, and it's a big coming out party, and they plan for months for their big coming out party. And, I'm gay. Oh. And it's like, oh my God, seriously? It's all just, and now they're the special one. And then they wake up the next day and they realize they're the same person they were before, pretty much just bisexual and confused. I don't know. You can say that reincarnation is unbiblical. That's fine. It doesn't bother me. We can disagree on that. Look, I can't, and please don't take this the wrong way. Okay, my religious friends in here, please don't take this the wrong way. I can prove reincarnation through empirical evidence, through hundreds and hundreds of cases that have been documented. I can prove a lot of things about it. I can show and demonstrate that it happens. Can you do that with the Bible? There's not a single thing in the Bible that I can prove today. I'd like to, trust me. I'm scientific and analytical. I have to walk across a pretty rickety bridge to become religious, because I'm scientific and imperial, and religion offers zero proof of anything. At least with reincarnation, I have some proof. We have all these well-documented cases over the years of children that know things they couldn't possibly know. We actually know what lives they lived. We actually know who they were in their past life. It's amazing when you look at it. No, it's not spoken a lot of. It was on Dateline. I think 60 Minutes did a thing about it. It's a bit obscure. They talk about it on Coast to Coast AM quite a bit. So if it's very, very, very unbiblical, like you say, then I have a problem. I have a problem because I believe in reincarnation, because I've seen the evidence. I've seen the proof. I also ran a paranormal research team called Florida Paranormal Research for about 7 or 8 years. Amassed a lot of equipment, did a lot of research, made contact with a lot of intelligences, did a lot of waveform research and sound research, lighting research, all kinds of different energy waveform research. And I've done a lot of things. And I can prove that there is some kind of intelligence. Now, when you get beyond that, it gets very difficult. But reincarnation's a little bit easier than ghosts, actually, because we have the proof. We have people that are like, yeah, the kid's never watched a thing about this in his life, and he knows about it. And he comes up with obscure facts that aren't even in movies or aren't even, he doesn't watch that stuff. He's 3.5 years old. The father was a complete skeptic. And that's part of what helped convince me on that one. And then once I saw that one, and then I realized that my mom and dad both believed in reincarnation, and I believe that a lot of my family believes in reincarnation. My grandmother believed in reincarnation. And I start to realize, that it doesn't have to be in odds with the Bible. All right. It all has to be godly. It all has to be right and proper. If I'm seeing all these signs that something's true, why would I ignore it? And I think that's the bottom line. Yes, there's been a lot of people that believed in it over time. There is absolutely nothing demonic about reincarnation at all. You simply reincarnate back over and over and over again. Your soul is developing. Your soul is coming back over and over and over again. And eventually you get to stay. Eventually you get to take the ride. You become an old soul. And you get to go to heaven. You get to be with Jesus and God. I do believe that. But the evidence is too much for me not to believe in reincarnation. So I believe in both. I believe that it happens that way. It happens both because I believe in reincarnation because of the proof of it, and because of the genuineness and the empirical nature of a lot of the data that's been collected over the years. I believe in reincarnation factually, scientifically. I can't explain it. Why a man would die in a plane crash in World War II and then reincarnate into a child in 2005 or whatever. I have no idea. But it happened. It happened. This child. Now, maybe the child just has this man's memories somehow. Maybe memory is something that can withstand the test of time a little bit somehow. I don't know. But just because you believe in reincarnation doesn't mean you're some kind of heathen or something. I don't agree with that. I do not believe in spontaneous human combustion. It's simply wicked. It's a wicking effect. There's actually been spontaneous human combustion cases where there was video. They've also recreated it, by the way, several times. They've recreated it. The reason the legs and the arms always remain is because once you get past the knees, there's not any fat left. It's all muscle, and so it doesn't burn. It's actually a slow burn. Your body sits there and burns so slowly that it doesn't catch the house on fire. It's almost like a pot roast that's on fire. It just keeps burning off the fat that's boiling out of it. So no, that's I as a firefighter, we studied this, and we actually did a project on this in one of my classes. And back when we used to have to go study things in the library to learn about them, and yes, so I know I don't believe in spontaneous human combustion. I do believe in human combustion. There's one thing in common. Every spontaneous human combustion case has 3 or 4 things in common. Number one, there's always an ignition source. They were smoking a cigarette. There was a heater. There was always an ignition source. Number two, it always happened at a time and a place where no one else was around. And number 3, in most every case, it's believed that the person was either asleep or unconscious when it began. When you add up all these points, what I think we find a lot of times is spontaneous human combustion is someone dies, and then the cigarette they were smoking slowly starts to catch them on fire, and it slowly boils out a little bit of oil, and it keeps burning and burning. It's disgusting, but it's true. And this can be proven by the burn patterns in the walls and the fact that it's generally localized and the whole house doesn't burn down and things like that. And we do have a lack of credible evidence of this happening to somebody. Like, we don't have Bob was walking in the airport and 3 cameras caught him spontaneously combustion. It doesn't. We don't really have that, and what few exist are questionable. So I dismissed that one. I dismissed that one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that one's just what they call the wicking effect with a heat source. Um, well, yes, Heath, but I will not close my mind. I will not close my mind. I just won't. I believe in the Bible. I also believe that it was passed down verbally for 600 years before it was finally written down and then changed by kings over the years and this and that. Do I believe in Jesus' teachings and what? Absolutely. Absolutely. And I do believe that Christianity has saved a lot more than it's hurt over the years. I think it's been a good thing for humanity, a very good thing. And I think the fact that we're getting away from it right now is part of our problem. Okay. I think the further we get from the Bible and from Christianity in this country, the worse off we are. But I disagree that you have to agree that it happens exactly the way whichever book you have happens, because there's a bunch of different books. Um, no, I don't believe that. I believe you're judged on your actions. I believe you're judged on how good versus bad. I believe that you're judged on that, and I believe you reincarnate until you get it right. And I think that you eventually do ascend, and you do spend time with God. And I believe this not because someone told me this, but because I believe this. I've seen it. I've run paranormal research groups. I've done research. I've done studies. I also listened to about 7 years of Coast to Coast AM. All right? And I've studied all kinds of different things. And I don't believe in closed-minded theories like this is correct and everything else is blasphemous. I just don't believe that. Especially when we don't have the actual instrument. What we have is approximation of the original writings or the original speeches that were given. And so I think there's been a lot of changes over the years, and a lot of things been closed and opened and changed, and so I just keep a very open mind about religion. Okay, I keep a very open mind about what I believe in, but what I believe in is good. It's godly. Okay, I believe in Jesus. I believe in his teachings. And that's that. And I believe that that's what's required. That you have to do good amongst humans. I was a firefighter for most of my career, my first career. I saved lives. I did a lot of philanthropy over the years. I've made a lot of kids smile. I've done a lot of good things. I've entertained people for hours over the years. And so I believe that you're judged by your deeds, and you're both public and private, and I believe that you are judged by the way you think and the way you feel towards your fellow man. And that's how I believe you're going to be judged. And it's that's what I believe. I don't make it complicated. It's not a book of instruction. It's basically it's a way forward. And I look at religion as that way. All the religions, with maybe exception of one, were written basically from the same basic concept, and that's that do good for each other. Do good to each other. Be good to each other. The way to be close to God is to be good to man. And to believe that there's a better day coming, and believe that there's a God above, and that he will take care of us as long as we do good. That's what I believe. Yeah, I mean, when someone says, "Are you religious?" Well, how do you figure? I don't go to church and sing. No, I don't. I don't. Organized religion has just got so many issues with it, and I also don't. I don't sing in public around people, and I've I've been to church probably 40 times in my life, different denominations, everything from Baptist to Nazarene to, different ones around here, different friends, different family, different occasions, different funerals, different reasons. I don't feel that I'm as close to God there as I am when I'm in nature, when I'm out hiking in the woods, when I'm out at a park, when I'm up at my cabin on my deck, looking up at the sky. That's when I feel like I'm closest to God. And I don't need the approval of other humans to get into heaven. So, and I look at it that way too. Everybody thinks they know what it takes to get into heaven, except Christianity is only one of 7 major religions. And it is, you have to pick which of the 47 or 109 or however many there is, different types of Christianity that there is, many of them with their own versions of the Bible. So are you telling me you're rolling the dice on which one's right? I mean, are we saying here that if you pick the wrong religion, you're going to hell? What about Jewish people? Are they all just going to hell because they're wrong religion? These are the problems I have, and that's why I think Christianity, the Bible, was written to encourage people to be nice to one another and to be godly, to be good. I think that's what it was all about. And I think we take it too literally sometimes. I think we take it way too literally sometimes. All right. Well, I'm not going to look, Heath, we're buddies. I'm not going to get into an argument with you about this. We can disagree on this. It's okay. All right. I don't believe there's any original version of anything out there. But okay. Look, God is all knowing. God knows what's in my heart, and God would never punish me for the work I've done here on this planet. Okay? That's the bottom line. And if someone tells me I got to follow some intricate VCR instructions in order to get to heaven, I'm not buying it. I'm just not. I believe that my deeds alone, and my belief in God and my belief in humanity and my helping and my saving lives and all that, that is getting me closer to God. Exactly. And that's how I feel. I don't believe it comes down to this and that and the other thing, or you got to follow these instructions. Of course, it's different in that book over there and that book over there, and all the different religions. And what about all the people in the Aborigines that have never even been introduced to Christianity yet? I mean, when you start looking at it, there's just a lot of problems that I have with the whole thing. I think the way I see it is so much easier because it's an open-minded view of it. Because I don't know exactly how it works. And I always start with, I don't know exactly how it works. That's how I start. None of us know how it works. You can believe in whichever book you have. And that's good. And you can use that like a set of instructions if you want to. But I don't believe that that's required for my soul to move to the next level or to move to the next place or whatever. I just don't. I cannot believe in my mind that I cannot believe the way that they say it works, where, if you don't do exactly this thing right here and believe in this and take this and do this and do that, and I just don't buy it. I just don't. I think God would be, and Jesus would be more interested in how we treat each other and more interested in the good that we do on this world than some ideological belief in something that, you expect people to believe in this, or you're not going to get to move on with the rest of us. I mean, that kind of it. I mean, believe in what we say, do exactly what we say, or you're not going to move on with the rest of us. You're going to go to hell, and you're going to burn in hell with all the Jewish people and all the Muslims and all the other religions out there. Where they're all going to rot in hell because they're not Christians. And I just, South Park did it best when all the people got to hell. And they're all getting off the plane when they got to hell. And they're like, what happened? Why am I in hell? I don't understand why I'm in hell. What did I do wrong? Well, what are you? Oh, I'm a Baptist. I've been going to Baptist church for 60 years. I'm da da da. Well, okay. Well, was the wrong one. What did you pick? Oh, I'm a Muslim. I did this. I did that. No, wrong one. What are you? Oh, I'm a Buddhist. I'm a Buddhist. This and okay. Well, no, wrong one. And it's this and that. And they go, well, what was the right religion? Oh, it was the Mormons. The Mormons was the right one. Everybody else goes to hell. And that's kind of how I feel about South Park once again hits it out of the park with, I believe that being close to God and doing godly things and doing the right things and dragging people out of burning buildings and collecting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of gifts for kids at Christmas and giving them Christmas trees every year. I mean, I think stuff like that gets you in heaven. I don't think that it's blind belief in mysticism that cannot be proven or quantified in any way. Literally, my entire future of my soul depends on my blind belief of something that cannot be proven. Didn't Jesus teach not to be gullible? I mean, I don't know. I have a real hard time with this. I'm stuck somewhere between religious and scientific. And I really have a hard time with this. Because first of all, I can't believe Jesus would ever damn us to hell because we didn't believe in him. How egotistical is that? You see what I mean? I mean, the whole thing just kind of stinks of some king made this thing up so that people would be scared of being damned to hell or whatever. So anyway, okay, well, we'll all see when we get there. Look, let me put it this way, okay? If God or Jesus, after all the good that I've done in this life, and after all the good I've spread, and after all the physical good things that I've done and the lives I've saved, if that's not good enough, that's the way I look at it. And I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. I do good things. I live righteously. I don't break the law. I do what I'm supposed to do, and I help fellow man, and that's what I do. And if that doesn't get me to where the next to the next best thing, then I don't know if I wanted to go, because you shouldn't have to devote blind faith to a leader that you've never seen or never heard in order to hope for a better future for your soul. I don't believe in that. I believe that we're judged I think we're judged exactly on what we do and how we do it and how many people we help. Yeah, absolutely, Heath. You can continue to do that. I personally believe that my soul is just fine. Yeah. I don't believe attending church is what I need to do to save me. I don't believe that, filling a bowl with money is what I need to do to save me, or singing songs with groups of people I don't know is what I need to do to save me. I don't see where any of that gets me closer to God. But a career in the fire service where I've saved lives, that gets me closer to God. I'm sorry, but that's the way I see it. And any God that would overlook the fact that of all the good things I've done in my life and judge me basically on whether I took someone in as my savior, that's an egotistical point. That's terrible if you think about it. And I have a real hard time with this. And that's why I have found a way in my mind to make it all work. And yes, we went into it tonight, didn't we? I consider myself a Christian. I believe in Christian teachings. I believe in the good of the Bible. But I also believe in reincarnation, and I have a very open mind when it comes to ghosts and communications and UFOs and aliens. And yes, reincarnation and things like that we can actually show are true, that happen. communications with intelligences beyond the grave and things like that. I've done it. I've been there. I've also debunked about 10 miles of it too. But there is some real stuff out there, and it does happen. And there's a lot more to this world than we understand. Some people would tell you believing in ghosts is anti-biblical. I think that was the word we used earlier. Believing in ghosts is anti-biblical? Really? Really? The study of it, the open-minded study of intelligences that we know must exist, how can that be anti-biblical? I don't understand that. Matt, that's funny. Yeah, we're here. We don't talk much religion on here because I've got religious friends in here, and I very much respect their religion. I do. We disagree on the mechanics of it. That's all. The good news is we're all going to find out. And I think that when we get there, we'll be pleasantly surprised that that people that both went that route and people that went this route are both going to be okay, because you cannot damn good souls to hell because they didn't have blind faith in something that they could not tangibly see or prove. So, and any God that would do that is an unjust God. And so it's hard for me to go that route. Anyway, there we go. Deploribus, I don't know. I don't know. So I choose to believe. How could you know? None of us knows. None of us knows for sure. You can say you know for sure. You can say that you believe 100%. But we all know that no matter how opened our mind is to it and everything else, we don't know for sure. All we know is what we were told, what we read in a book. That's it. There's nothing that can be proven. There's nothing. But I choose to believe, because if millions of people believe in it, and it's a good thing to believe in, then there's nothing wrong with believing in it. And that's where I'm at. I do believe in it, and I'm fine with it. I think a lot of evil's been done through it, but that can be said about everything, from food to politicians. So I don't worry about that. But what I am saying is it's a man-made religion. You know, it's originally started from what very well could have been the Son of God. I agree. I believe that. Very well could have been. But I don't know. I keep an open mind to it, which is more than most of these friggin' agnostics do. And these atheists. I'm not an agnostic. I believe in God 100%. I believe there's a higher power. I believe that he is not necessarily, it is not necessarily involved in our daily life. I also believe that energy is energy, and it works in strange ways. And positive energy lends to bring positive energy. And same with negative energy. That's all the science of it. And I'm stuck somewhere between the science of it and the religion of it. And I don't think Jesus was as technical about it as we think he was. He just wanted people to live good lives. That's the bottom line. I think if Jesus were here right now and we asked him, hey, what does it take to make sure that our soul moves on in a positive way? Good deeds or blind faith? I would love to get that answer, because that's basically the crux of our argument tonight. Yeah, I've watched that show, Matt. I've watched some of that. It's pretty good. I like the cop in that. He's good. He doesn't believe in that shit right off the bat. You have to really convince him. I like that. Yeah, I do. I like that show. And that's awesome, Yellow. That's awesome. I also believe that when I die, that my soul will be treated well, and I do believe that things will go well because I've had a good life, and I've helped a lot more people than I've ever hurt. So there you go. Let's see here. What else do we got? Okay, Heath, I didn't get my theology through South Park. That's not fair. I was using that as an example. That's all. I was trying to use that as an abstract example. So I think that was a little unfair, but okay. Yeah, I do good deeds because I have faith. There you go. So do I. I don't necessarily do good deeds because I feel like I'm going to go to hell. My soul wants to do good deeds. I've always been that way. Um, I've just always been that way. Whether it's getting up at 3 in the morning to go to that house fire on a cold morning, or starting this new thing where all the kids get Christmas presents in my fire district. Whatever it was, my soul always wants to do the right thing. And that's why I know that I have a good soul, and I know that I'm good. I'm good to go. Um, yeah, I have a hard time believing in humans. And that's why I'm very cautious about religion because it's been so tampered with over the years by humans, by corrupt humans, um, that I'm a little skeptical. But that being said, I do believe in the whole, I do believe in the whole feel of it, and I think that I honestly will tell you I believe what's wrong with our country right now. One of the biggest things is that we've gotten away from religion. Religion is good for people. There's nothing wrong with it. It's great. I think we're mature enough to have this conversation. I hope Heath doesn't get mad at me. Heath and I both believe in most of the same things. It's just we get right down to the process of it, and we have a few differences, but it's no problem. Um, all right. So anyway, yeah, I definitely feel that there's a higher being. Absolutely. But anyway, there it is. That's the religion conversation. I didn't. I only brought it up. I only brought it up because Trey believes that some of this gender euphoria that we're dealing with could be holdovers from a previous life. And I tend to agree that that could be a percentage. However, we both kind of agreed that the larger percentage is going to be the indoctrination they're getting from the counselors and the teachers and the staff, and the shrinkers and the doctors and the nurses and the general practitioners. I think that those people all telling them, hey, you know what? You were just born in the wrong body, dude. You were born in the wrong. You got a penis. You shouldn't have no penis down there. We could lop that sumbitch right off. And that's the problem is the so-called professionals are giving them really really bad advice. Um, no, neighbor, I would be fine with prayer in school actually. So that's why when people start telling me I'm anti-religious or whatever, I'm not. I'm for bringing religion back in the schools. If for no other reason, because it makes the schools better. It makes the kids better. Um, yeah, so there you go. And it would really piss them liberal teachers off, and the unions would go freaking nuts. And of course, that's worth the price of admission right there. Yeah, deplorabus. Yeah, probably. We're getting close on that. We definitely want that to pass. This new legislation, the federal government would require that every single voter in the United States would provide government ID in order to vote. this could be another large blow to the Democrats because so many of their votes come from using some kind of sleight of hand. And there's a real good chance that just this alone could offset elections in a crazy manner. But then you also have all the congressional redistricting that's going on. In 5 years, 4 years, you've got the top of the decade. You've got the census coming, and we're going to be reshuffling again. We're going to end up picking up 2 or 3 more congressional seats here in Florida, and trust me, they'll all be red. And yeah, I think that we're going to see some really neat stuff coming in the future with all this. Yeah, the Pledge of Allegiance. I understand the points against the Pledge of Allegiance, but I think it was a good thing, and I would like to see us do that again. Um, if for no other reason, because it's tradition and it's been done for many years. We definitely want uh, voter ID. We have to get voter ID. We have to get it to where people have to show an ID to vote. Period. There's no way around it. We're still going to have fraud, but that'll cut down most of it. And I also think they're going to put some restriction on how they do mail-in ballots. I don't know if you guys know what's going on. What these liberals do is like 3 or 4 of them will work as night nurses in a nursing home. And what they'll literally do is they'll send in a mail-in ballot request for everybody that's in that nursing home. And then when they all come in, they all sit there and just fill them out. And they fill them out, and they generally just check the president or whatever, the big 1 or 2 races. They check those, they fold it back up, they sign some name on the bottom, and they stick it in a thing. And that nursing home will put in 65 votes for the Democrat nominee, and none of those people ever voted. It was not actually the people voting. It was the 4 nurses that work at the night station there. They actually found them doing this all over the place. And this is the kind of fraud that's been going on. And this has to be stopped until we can get good elections and good borders. There's several things you need to be a sovereign country. You have to be able to run clean elections. You have to be able to elect the proper electors, and you have to also have border security and a sovereign border. Yeah, that's the thing, Deploribus. 95%. Yeah, the numbers are really high. Not, as many as 95% of Republicans and as many as 71% of Democrats want voter ID. So why are the Democrats fighting against it so hard? Why do the Democrats fight against it so hard? To cheat. There's no other reason. There's no other reason. They come out and say it's disenfranchising the black voter. Why is that? Why is that? Oh, well, because black people can't get to the driver's license office to get an ID card. I mean, that's the kind of stupid shit you hear. Black people can get there just as easy as white people. In fact, most driver's license offices are closer to their part of town on there. Because here, we've got 4 or 5 driver's license offices. Several of them are over in the city, right over there. A couple of them in Lehigh, right there. They're generally in the poorer or middle class areas. They're not in the rich areas. So I don't see how you can say that black people or Hispanic people or even poor white people, for that matter, are disenfranchised because of ID. Everyone should have an ID. You have to have an ID to sign a contract or cash a check. You have to have an ID to buy booze or cigarettes. You're telling me these people don't have IDs? It's bullshit. I'm sorry, but it's bullshit. The truth is, black people, white people, Hispanic people, men, women, anybody can get an ID just as easy as anybody else. So I just don't buy it. I don't buy the whole bullshit. Yeah, I mean, neighbor, that's exactly right. Absolutely. No, I think, Heath, you're right for you, and I'm right for me. So let's just not worry about it. Um, yeah, it's all good. I'm not going to worry about it. It certainly won't get in the way of a friendship. Let's see here. Yes, satellite office. Yeah, I mean, yellow. There's little offices everywhere, and they generally put those offices in the poorer parts of town or in the middle class parts of town. And so that's why when they say, well, it's harder for black people to get ID, why would that be? They're just as smart as we are. They live just as close to the place as we do. They have the availability of all the same stuff that we do. You're telling me they can't get an ID and I can? Are you telling me they treat them differently? No, I don't think we're saying that, are we? So the whole thing's bullshit. It's because they have no reason. The actual reason is they want to cheat. They want to cheat. Bottom line. Yeah. Yeah, you need an ID to sign up for food stamps or WIC. I mean, you need an ID for almost anything, but they don't think you should need an ID to vote for the President of the United States of America, the leader of the free world. My God. In some towns, you have to show an ID to get a bus pass. It's ridiculous. You can't sign a contract or buy a house or a car. I mean, if you think about it, there's how many things can you not do without an ID? There's hundreds of things you cannot do without an ID. But they want you to be able to vote without an ID. There's only one reason for that. To cheat. Period. And that's why the left is the only side that fights for this. And even half of the left, well over half of the left, doesn't want this either. Most people that believe in the United States in any way, even if you're on the right or the left, most people that just believe in the United States believe that we should make sure that everybody gets one vote. That's so important. Everybody should get one vote. That's the bottom line. Right, Mama Kitty? What do you got? You got food all over your mouth? What's that, Mama? What do you got on your mouth? You're on TV. You can't look like a slob. Come on. Well, and Heath, you're absolutely correct on that, and that's the problem we have right now. California will give you a driver's license if you're an illegal. In California, to get a voter card, all you need is a driver's license. Yeah, it's bullshit. That's a problem. But that's not going to be continuing like that. That's another thing they're going to try to clean up with this thing. There has to be some standards here. There has to be. Yeah. She's just glad I'm home. She did 10 days out in the main part of the house and outside instead of in here in her shack where she lives. She goes out for about 30 minutes every night and walks around and says hi to the other cats, and then she wants to come right back in again. She likes to do her business outside. Well, neighbor, I don't know. I don't know what's going to go on with this. I have mixed emotions. I don't believe that law enforcement should be acting in an official capacity without showing their name and ID number. What I want to see, if they're going to keep the masks, what I want to see is like they do in Canada and in other places. I want to see a nameplate on the front with huge numbers on it that says 12536. And that way, if they're not going to show their name and they're not going to show their face, they at least need to have a 5-digit number on the front of their suit so that we can file a complaint or we know who we're talking to. And if they're asked to identify themselves and they're not going to give their name, they could at least give that ID number. So, I mean, I think there's compromise here. I think we can find compromise on that. Look, these people have families. I was a cop. Because I was a cop, I can still hide my information if I want to. I don't, but I could. there should be some protections for law enforcement when you're out there arresting people and putting them in jail. 10 years later, when they get out of jail, they'll come looking for you. They got your name, they know you, and they're going to come looking for you. So that's what's scary about being a cop is you never know who's going to be looking for you. And so I understand them wanting to wear the masks. I get it. I don't like it. Trust me, I don't like cops hiding their identity. I don't like bad guys hiding their identity. Okay. That being said, I get it. I understand it. And they want to go out and do their job and then go home to their family and not have to worry about retaliation following them home. Ed's outside. Or Ed, I think's in the bedroom. Actually, he's already in the bedroom. Neighbor, I kind of agree with that in a way. Policing is a public service, and they've got to where the police treat us pretty bad nowadays. They're rude. The last 3 times I spoke to a police officer, they were rude to me every time. I filed a complaint on a police officer about 30 days ago. I pulled up in front of my work, and there was 6 cop cars, all blocking the only gate that goes into my work. And so I'm sitting out on the side of the road, out there on the side of Palm Beach Boulevard, waiting to get in. And I sat there, and these cops are all just standing around talking. They've got one cop has one guy up against our fence, and he's talking to him. There's nobody else there, and there's 4 cops that have pulled up, and they're all just sitting there bullshitting. And I just sat there, and I finally pulled up, and I'm like, are you guys going to clear the gates so we can go to work? I got a show to produce. I'm producing a radio show. And they just stood there, and they looked at me like I was some kind of asshole, and I had to wait 10 more minutes. They finally moved a couple of the cars because I called their dispatch center, and I said, hey, I need to speak to the watch commander to file a complaint. I said, you got guys down here bullshitting. They're not on the call. They're bullshitting, and they're blocking our gate, and there's 6 or 8 of us down here trying to get to work. We're broadcasters. Everything is time certain. Please clear our gate so we can go to work. So right after I made the call, of course, they all went back to they got a call on the radio, and they all went back and cleared it out. So I went inside, I pulled up inside, and I wanted to go down and get their badge numbers or something because I wanted to file a formal complaint because, I waited out there for 25 minutes to turn into my work because they were standing around bullshitting after the call. And so finally, I walked down there, and through the gate, I'm taking pictures of them and video. And the cop goes, is there something I can help you with? And I said, yeah, I need your name and badge number and his name and badge number. And he says, what for? And I said, because you guys are blocking our entrance here. And I said, and they were rude to me out there when I said something about it. And I said, it's not really fair that you guys just stand around bullshitting when you easily could have pulled up and let us go to work. And he's like, we're doing something here. We're busy. I said, you're not busy. You've got one guy here whose car broke down, and you're running his name. Am I right so far? And he goes, how do you know that? And I said, because my work's the people that called you. They weren't sure what he was doing out here. It's after dark. And he goes, well, yeah, so we're responding to a call from here. I said, yeah. But that call's over here. You don't need to block all the gate. You don't need to block the whole gate up. And he's like, well, you just have to wait when there's stuff going on. I said, you have to wait when there's an emergency, but this was no emergency. They ended up running the guy and letting him go. There was nothing wrong with him. His car broke down there. He was waiting on somebody to come bring him some water or fuel or something. It was ridiculous. And these cops, these Fort Myers police officers, were just complete assholes to everybody that they came in contact with out there. And I'm like, buddy, I was the police. I support the police. You know, and it just surprises me how they talk to everybody like a piece of shit now. I do still support them. I back the blue. I just hope it doesn't come true, because they say if you back the blue, it eventually will happen to you. It worries me. I don't even go out at night. If I see a cop turn in behind me, I pull into the gas station. I never get followed by a cop. The moment a cop's coming up behind me, I turn. I won't be evaluated by cops. I don't want to be around them. And it's not because I'm anti-cop. I was a cop. I don't trust them. I didn't trust them when I was one. I saw cops lie all the frickin' time. It's like standard business for them. And so I just don't like them around me. I don't like being around them. And then every time I have contact with them, they're assholes to me. But I still support them, because you know what? They're the head of the spear. They're the ones that keep us sovereign. They're the ones that keep us safe, and they're the ones that hopefully keep our shit from getting stolen and our family from getting hurt. And we need them. And so it really bothers me sometimes when I have this dichotomy in my mind where there's a cop. Oh, frick. You know, the last thing we need is a frickin' cop. And so I've got to the point now that I give them the attitude right back. I was telling them off over there. I told them off. I told them, I said, you guys are real jerks for what you did out here. I said, you guys easily could have cleared that gate, but you don't think you have to because you wear that badge. I told him off. And then he says, you have no idea what we do. And I said, I worked 8 years for the sheriff's department as a sworn deputy sheriff. So please don't tell me that. I'm mad because I do know what you do. And I know how arrogant and smug you are. Just move your damn car so people can get to work. It's not that hard. All that said, I still support law enforcement because we need these guys. And in most cases, they're good people. A lot of them they've lost the ability to treat us like normal people. And I know when I was a cop, it was kind of that way too. There's two kinds of people. There's cops and there's liars. And you really have to fight against that when you're a cop, because everybody lies to you. I get it. And Heath, I agree with you. If you're not smart enough to get and keep an ID, I don't want you selecting president. Thank you. Completely agree. I do. Heath, again, I agree with you. I think it's racist to say that, well, it's harder for black people to get an ID. Why is that? Why is that? They have all the same opportunities I do. So what are you saying? They're slow, they're stupid? That's terrible. That's racist. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Ooh, I'm not sure, Heath. I'm not sure on that new technology, that stuff. I don't know, because these people are born victims. You have to remember that. You start hitting the crowd with supersonics and hypersonics and freaking sonics and whatever else you're going to hit them with. You're going to get nothing but complaints, and the outrage will go nuts. I'm telling you, if you lay out about 20 of these people with these sonic weapons, the outrage will grow by multitudes. You'll see exponential growth of the numbers. I think it would be a bad idea. Now, there's other things they can do. They were starting to use some of those cell jammers in New York and stuff, and where they were shutting down all the live feeds at one time. There was one night I had 7 live feeds going, and all 7 of them went circle at the same time. I even was checking my equipment, and we lost them all, and we didn't get any of them back. I don't know why they're not doing more of that. I mean, I don't like that either, but I mean, if that's what they want to do, set one of those up on the roof there and start knocking out all, start disrupting those cell signals coming out. Well, that's true, Matt. And like we used to tell people when I was a cop, I used to tell people, you see people every day, and they're having a day. and it's a normal day and it's a regular day. But when you're a cop, you're seeing people on the worst day they've had in a very long time, if not the worst day ever. You're seeing people that have just lost something or someone that means a lot to them. You're meeting with people that you're a cop, but you're not going to be able to help them. You're not going to get any of their shit back. You're going to take some report and drive away, and all they're going to see is taillights. But yeah, it's depressing. It can be depressing. When I was a firefighter, I was a firefighter, and then on my 2 days off, I was a cop, and then I'd go back to being a firefighter. I had no life, no family, and so yeah, it did pile up on me for a while there. There was funny calls. There was interesting calls. There was the guy that ran out on his upstairs porch, top of the stairwell, and he yelled down to us as we're walking up, "Watch out, the bitch is crazy." And that's the last thing he said before she whacked him from behind with a frying pan. Put that fricker in the hospital, man. He was done. Stitched up the whole back of his head. He had a subdural hematoma. The bitch knew how to clock, I'm telling you. And but yeah, you see some funny stuff. I saw some really funny calls. I dealt with crazy people. I've done all kinds of neat stuff. Yeah, the human condition when you're a cop or a fireman is interesting because, like I said, when you call a fire truck, your mom just died, your cat, your dog is stuck in a tree, whatever. Something crazy's on, something's on fire, something's broken, something's spilling, something's leaking, and you're having the worst day of your life. And that's where I come in. And I always looked at it as my job is to make your best day the best I can make it. It's almost kind of like a hospice situation. You know, we have a Hope Hospice here. They're the best. They're the freaking best. But your loved one's dying. It's one of those things. You just have to make the very best of the very worst. And that's how I always looked at firefighting and law enforcement and EMS. We arrive and we have to do everything we can to make this very bad situation the best that we can make it in the short time that we're involved. And that's how I looked at every call I responded to. And I wish cops would look at calls that way today. Because a lot of cops don't go to calls looking, what can I do to help this person? They generally go to calls now looking for, what can I do to help my career with this person? And that's just a really bad way to think about it. And that's why arrests go up and prosecutions, successful prosecutions go down when you start doing quotas and things like that. So, I mean, the law enforcement has a lot of problems. However, we need these guys. I'm pro law enforcement. And, it just has to be. Yeah, there's a lot of misnomers, like police officers have the most dangerous job. No, they don't. There's a bunch of jobs more dangerous than theirs. Some years more firemen die in the line of duty than cops. That's true. Firemen are generally going into deadly environments, and that's the difference. A cop, other than going into a shootout, rarely ever goes into a deadly environment. Other than getting run over by a car or hitting something. You know the number one way cops die? Car accidents. Not wearing their seatbelt. Fricking around on the computer when they're supposed to be driving. Okay? That's the number one way cops. That's why when cops like, it's officer safety. I had to draw my gun and put it in his face for officer safety. And I'm like, officer safety? Getting shot, there's only like a 3% chance. If you die in the line of duty, there's only like a 9% chance that it's going to be from a shooting. There's a 35% chance it's going to be because you didn't put your seatbelt on in the police car. There's another 20% that you're going to back out in traffic and somebody's going to run you over. The most dangerous things that you run into as a police officer is your own stupidity. Not putting your seatbelt on, rear-ending the car in front of you because you were on the computer, stepping out in traffic on a traffic stop, getting hit by a vehicle that hits your vehicle on a traffic stop. Mama, you're purring so loud they can probably hear it. Yeah, you climbing the ladder? She's climbing the ladder tonight. I don't know. All right. So anyway, I don't have much else tonight, guys. That's pretty much it. Um, the top left is no, that the top left is Pennsylvania, Philadelphia. That's one of the those cams there for that. Yellow. Well, I mean, should I? I mean, or should we keep it on so people can see what's going on? This is terrible. What's happening? I didn't see it, but you guys are telling me, and I believe you. It's terrible. I hate to take it off. The guy needs help. Hopefully, someone's calling someone. I don't know where this is or what it is. I feel bad for people, but they put themselves in these situations. I thank God I was on the honor guard. I went to a lot of funerals. We buried a whole bunch of guys from one department that went on a pesticide fire. They all died of cancer within 10 years. That was heartbreaking. And that's something they don't even really talk about much in the news. But we went to every one of those funerals, one after another. These guys, they went to a pesticides fire. They got that shit all over them. And they started getting these mysterious cancers all over their body and dying one after another. And we were burying them 2 a year for a while there. Just terrible, terrible, disgusting. Um, People have no idea how dangerous it is to be a firefighter every time you go out. It's just, you know. Yeah, they're either nodding or dying. That's about what they're doing. All right, guys. Yeah, don't do drugs. That's a good one. You can do enough with smoke and drink and all that kind of stuff. You don't need to get into hard drugs because this is what it ends up being right here. It just ends up being your life hanging in the balance here. That person's life is literally hanging in the balance, and they could go either way, you know. But you can't ever lose. This is the thing. You can look at people like that. You can feel bad for them. You can try to help them. But I'm telling you, in the end, this is how it's going to end up for them. This is the road they chose for themselves. Very few people come back from this. And I'm glad that some do. Yeah, depressing Democrats like this stuff. All right. Reminds me of the ending of Squid Game. There you go. Wasn't that a great movie? Wasn't that a great series? I never watched the second one yet. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna sit down one weekend and just bang it out. But I watched the first one, and I have never liked a foreign show before, and not even British shows. I mean, I'm very Americanized, and I loved Squid Game with the subtitles. Then when it came out again, dubbed in English, I watched it again and enjoyed it again because now it was in English. It was dubbed. It was a little different because the dubbing was done by different people and stuff. So, and the translations and stuff. So I thought it was great. And then, so yeah, I'm gonna watch the other one, the second one that's come out. All right, yeah. Everybody have a good night. I'm gonna lead you out tonight with a song I wrote. I always wanted to say that. Here's a little song I wrote. You can make music in 10 minutes now. This is a little song I wrote about Star Trek Woke Academy, the Kurtzman Trek Woke Fleet Academy. And this is a little song I wrote for that. So I'm gonna send you guys out with that. We'll see you guys tomorrow night, right here on the Sights and Sounds of Earth. My name's Ian. This is Starship Adventures. And don't forget our secondary channel, Starship After Dark. And we are going to be here every night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Not this coming weekend, but the following weekend is Hamfest. And I will be attending Hamfest, and there'll be a weird schedule that weekend. So I'll tell you more about that as it gets closer. This coming weekend, I will be home, and I will be prepared to do long-form coverage if necessary. So we will be watching for the opportunity to do some long-form broadcasting if the feeds and the news warrant it. All right, so that's pretty much that. All right, everybody, on behalf of my co-host who's climbing the ladder down here, Mama Bleep, and my name is Ian, and this is Starship Adventures, Starship Studios in Southwest Florida, and we're going to go ahead and sign off for tonight. I hope everybody's had a great night and a good day, and I hope you guys have a great tomorrow. Like I said, this is a great song I wrote about Kurtzman and how he's ruined Star Trek.
Yeah, this one's for the real Trekkies. The ones who remember when Star Trek meant something. Alex Kurtzman, you hack. Consider this your send-off. You killed the franchise and we're singing over the grave.
Used to be my pride, watch the stars unfold. Bold explorers, logic sharp, stories pure as gold. Then came Kurtzman, grim reaper in a suit, turned the Enterprise into a woke-ass reboot. 'Cause in the day that clown sniffed around the set, now it's teen drama trash, the franchise is dead. Greatest sci-fi ever, no, not anymore. You shot all over Roddenberry's core. Oh, Alex Kurtzman, you ruined Star Trek, woke Trek forever. What a pathetic wreck. Barefoot captains, pajama queens on the bridge, cadets fat and whiny playing high school gigs, DA checklists, virtue signaling lectures, Forescape pandering feelings over vectors. You hate the show, you hate the fans, you hate the dream. Starfleet Academy, more like a bad fever dream. Beat me the hell out of here, Scotty, I'm done. Captain Nalaka, Holly Hunter's barefoot joke, strutting in PJ's no shoes, someone's got a fetish poke. Talks like gravel in her mouth, sits like a smug damn cat, refuses to split a kid from a crook. Starfleet, where's that at? Oh, power to forward shields while getting hit from behind. Technical idiocy shows you got no mind. Women always stronger, smarter, morally supreme. Men bumbling props in your feminist fever dream. Cadets supposed to be elite, fat, dumb, and out of shape, whining about love triangles, homesick tears on tape. Insubordination daily, no discipline in sight. Mouth off to superiors, get a hug, yeah, that's right. Flat as cardboard, one-dimensional divides. Speed run arcs faster than a warp core plot. Everyone's queer-coded, not representation, just force. Preachy therapeutic speed. their circles, of course. Oh, Alex Kurtzman, you ruined Star Trek, woke Trek forever. What a pathetic wreck. Barefoot captains, pajama queens on the bridge, cadets fat and whining playing high school gigs, EA checklists, virtue signaling lectures, force gay pandering feelings over vectors. You hate the show, you hate the fans, you hate the dream. Starfleet Academy, more like a bad fever dream. Beam me the hell out of here, Scotty, I'm done. Writing's cringeworthy, dialogue preachy and lame. Juvenile jokes fall flat, embarrassing shame. Grainy visuals, cheap effects, sound mix from hell. Lore butchered, canon trashed, nostalgia bait smell. Pacing's garbage unearned tears, forced drama galore. Teen soap on Nickelodeon couldn't be more poor. Viewership tanked, charts dropping like red shirts in a fight. Low scores ain't bombing, fans just saw the light. Ruined Discovery, Picard, strange new worlds too. Lower decks tried, but you poisoned that crew. Turned hope and exploration into leftist lecture halls. Discipline's oppression, men are useless, women got balls. Over-reliance on Easter eggs, desperate and sloppy. No fresh ideas, just wrecking what's copied. Kurtzman, your secret hideout, king of the con. You don't get Trek, you hate it, and it's gone. Oh, Alex Kurtzman, you ruined Star Trek, woke Trek forever. What a pathetic wreck. Barefoot captains, pajama queens on the bridge, cadets fat and whining playing high school gigs, DA checklists, virtue signaling lectures, force gay pandering feelings over vectors. You wrote the epitaph, killed the best franchise alive. Starfleet Academy, proof the dream don't survive. Beam me the hell out of here, Scotty, I'm done. Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, buckle up. Patriots. These clown shows in the streets, they're about as American as a commie parade. Time to sing it straight. No sugar. All salt, God bless Trump. And the USA. Out in Minneapolis, they're screaming abolish I.C. Blocking road like idiots, acting all high and mighty. Portland's burning again, Antifa thugs in black, smashing windows, hurting cops, yeah, take that back. Los Angeles riots, property going up in flames, injuring our boys in blue, playing stupid games. Inflatable animals bouncing like fools in the crowd. leaving destruction in their zone. Damaging shops, spraying hate on the walls, injuring police who answer the calls, and off a mast hiding coward faces, paid by elites to trash our sacred places. But MAGA counter-protesters standing tall and proud, waving flags, pushing back a radical crowd. YouTube blowing up with the real truth exposed, local media filming your farces deposed. You think your tantrum's gonna change a damn thing? ICE deporting crooks, that's the law we bring. No hope for your nonsense, it's all hot air and lies, while Trump's keeping us safe under star-spangled skies. Inflatable critters, what a pathetic sight. Smart-ass radicals losing the fight. We're protective as hell of our red, white, and blue. You ain't our American fools, we're done with you. From coast to coast, your protests fall flat. Ridiculous chants like a bad circus act. Expanding on YouTube, the world sees your shame. Local news capturing your blame game. MAGA warriors rally, turning the tide. Defending our nation with patriotic pride. These riots are garbage, injuring the just, but Trump's law and order, in him we trust. These anti-ICE protests, stupid as hell, downright dumb. Anti-American trash, where the hell you from? Riots wrecking our cities, hurting the brave and true. But President Trump's fighting back, making America new. Keep the U.S. great with borders strong and tight. Law and order forever under freedom's light. You pointless clowns got no hope. ICE follows the law. MAGA's rising up. Hear the patriots roar. Yeah, keep protesting, you ridiculous crew. Trump's making America greater than you. God bless the USA, land of the free and bold. These protests are over. Story told. MAGA forever.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been my pleasure to be your host tonight. My name's Ian, this is Starship Adventures. We'll be back tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Same bat time, same bat channel. Join us then. We'll be talking about all the breaking news, science, everything going on around the world. See you guys tomorrow night. This is Starship Adventures, and this concludes our broadcast day. Have a good night, everybody, and a safe tomorrow. 7-3s, KO4 EFS QSY.
The sun.